Hi, welcome to the Corner of Knit and Tea, episode 475. I'm Laura, also known as Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, which is where this episode and every episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop called The Corner of Knit and Tea, where you can buy my handspun yarns and my knitting patterns. Also, I'll be discussing Tour de Fleece today, and we have a thread in the Ravelry group, which is called The Corner of Knit and Tea, and we also have a Facebook group, the link to which you will find down below. It's called Team CKT, Spin It to Win It. So hi, how are you? It is Monday, May 20th. I hope that you are having a lovely start to your week. I had a great weekend. It was super relaxing. I did almost nothing except watch TV and craft a little bit. I read a book. It was just really nice. I had some time to myself while my husband was out at a bachelor party. And really just, it was a nice weekend. I wish I had gotten to do a little bit more crafting. My arm is still giving me a little bit of trouble, so I'll talk a little bit about that. But I managed to finish some projects last week. I had two projects that were almost finished when we last talked. So I finished those. I started some more. I have another start in the wings, a couple starts in the wings, and some things that I'm working on. So I have lots to share with you today, including a brief about Tour de Fleece. So let's get started. So today I'm drinking the Republic of Tea Downton Estate blend. It was one of the Downton Abbey themed teas, and it is Earl Grey with vanilla, which I really like, and I am drinking it today in my roastery mug, which technically is a coffee house here in Kansas City, but I love this enamel mug because it keeps my drinks hot for a long time, and so it's really lovely. So that is a good pick-me-up this afternoon. It is about 1:30 and I am taking a little bit of a lunch break. I'm coming to you from Kansas City, sort of the Kansas City suburbs on the Kansas side, and we are having a warm and steamy day. It's been in the 80s the last few days, but it rained all night long. We had huge thunderstorms, and it actually was raining into this morning, and I think we're just going to have more of the same. It's going to be hot and humid, which is pretty much the Midwest at a glance. So let's talk about the two things that I finished. The first thing that I finished last week was a scarf, and this is kind of in the category of knitting. I have been knitting garter stitch scarves. I've been knitting them lengthwise, and I have been using up leftover scraps in my stash. So this particular scarf was leftovers of kind of jewel tones. It's blues and purples and pinks and some gray and some orange. And what I have been doing is knitting them in the long direction and then tying the ends as fringe, and then what I do is I just put it under my rotary cutter and I cut them off so they're all pretty even. It's not 100%, but it's close. And so this is the second in the, I'll probably end up doing 3 right now because I'm working on a third. And then I might move on to other things, but this is the one that I finished this week. I really like this one, and I had leftovers of everything, so I'm sure I will do more at some point, but this is about 6 inches wide, and it's just a squishy garter scarf. I went ahead and cast on 300 stitches for this one, and the last one was 56 stitches and ended up at, the last one was 250 stitches and ended up at 56 inches. And let me see, I forgot to measure this one, but I can do it here right now. And let's see, that is 17 times 4 is 34, and 34 is 68. So I got about 68 inches, which is much closer to what I was hoping for on this scarf. So yeah, so really what I did is I just cast on, I knit end to end, I changed color every single row, and then I went ahead and tied knots in the bits at the end of each row. I just leave them long when I'm actually working on it, and then tie the ends to sort of keep it at fringe, and then like I said, I just put them under my quilting ruler and with the rotary cutter, cut them, and it's just really nice. It gives me a nice straight set of fringe, and there's no like tidying up with the scissors when I'm done, like there is regularly. So that is the first thing that I finished. And since that's the category of knitting, I think I'll stick with knitting, and then I'll go through embroidery, and then we'll talk about spinning. So that is the finished project here. What I did is I went ahead and cast on for another one. I am really enjoying these, and so I got diagnosed with tendonitis in late March, early April. And so my arm has been giving me some trouble knitting, and I thought the best way to get back into knitting would be to use a kind of a sort of a middle of the road weight yarn, nothing too small, nothing too big. And so I chose like Sport DK worsted weight, and I thought it would be nice to just knit, because I am now I can't remember what to call it, I am a flicker when I knit, and so there's not a lot of movement in my wrist, which is what was giving me so much pain. So what I did is I just decided I would do a bunch of these garter scarves. I took out a bin of leftovers of everything from like a tiny little bit, you know, like 10 grams left, 5 grams left, all the way up to a half ball, and I have been turning them into scarves. So this week's scarf is mostly greens and blues. So this is what I am doing. So I am doing the exact same thing. I can't tell you exactly how many stitches because I lost count when I lost count somewhere north of 200, and so I'm sure it's 300 or more. I guess I'll find out when I'm done. But so I cast on, and then I have just been knitting with all my blues, and I have some teals and kind of blue greens. And so I have been putting these in here, and again, just doing one row at a time for each color, tying knots at the ends. So you can see I have already tied the knots, but of course I have not trimmed up the fringe. Sometimes I'm running out of yarn partway through and attaching another ball, so I still need to weave in the ends there. I have a couple of those. My goal is to just use up all the little bits and bobs that I have in stash. I will not finish them all, but I have a bag full of bits and bobs. You can kind of see it. It's such a mess. I have a bag of bits and bobs in here that I am using for this scarf. I think this might be my last scarf in the series for now. I have more sets put together. But I think I might actually try and cast on for a little bit more of a project next. I don't know. These have been super addictive, and I can just knit as many rows as I feel like I can knit, and then I can stop and move on to something else, which is really nice. But I also want to move on to other projects for myself. I would love to make some tops for the summer, and so I kind of have that as an idea. So my plan is to hopefully finish this one this week. I have, in the United States, we have a holiday weekend upcoming, Memorial Day weekend, and my husband, we were originally supposed to go out of town together, but I don't have enough vacation time at work, and so I decided not to go with him. So I'm going to be on my own for 5 days this weekend. He's leaving on Thursday, and he will be back on Monday, and Monday is a holiday from work. So that gives me 5 days this weekend to craft and do whatever I want, and I have big plans. We'll see if I get any of them done, but one of them would be to finish this scarf over the course of the next week so that I can cast on something new. So like I said, this is just my standard garter stitch in blues, and I'm sure you'll see more of these this year because this has turned into a really, really good way to get rid of lots of scraps. And while I realize, I know I started out the year talking about making this the year of mittens. I've knit several pairs of mittens, and I may yet knit some more. These are just really addictive. I love these. So, and actually I really should just like knit a whole blanket out of leftovers I have in my stash, all the different colors, but instead I'm just doing these scarves, and I will probably send these off to Knit the Rainbow, which is a 501c3 charity headquartered in New York that provides warm weather gear to folks experiencing houselessness because they are LGBTQIA. And these are happy kind of rainbow scarves, but not everyone wants to wear a rainbow, even though it's called Knit the Rainbow. These are happy, colorful scarves, but of course this one is a little bit more neutral if somebody does not want to wear crazy bright colors. And all the yarns that are in here, I'm using my scraps, but none of them are acrylic. So they're all like superwash merino. I think a few of them have, some of them are just regular wool. I think a few of them have some alpaca in them or cashmere or other things, but these are all like nice scraps. I mean, I think I hesitate to say this because it sounds so, well, A, it sounds snobbish, but it also sounds terrible. I mean, I think probably the lowest level of yarn that I have put in here is, I know I do have some scraps left over of Cascade 220, and so I have been working those in here, but I think everything else is probably indie yarn that I have left over from a variety of projects or sample knits. So I'm not really concerned about the quality of these. I think they'll be really nice and warm and colorful and fun, and so my plan is to donate them in the fall. For now, I'll just knit as many as I want and take photos of them, and that will be happy for me. So that is what I'm working on here. So that brings me to what I would like to cast on next. And I think I mentioned this because I bought this skein a few weeks ago, but I'll talk about it now. I would love to knit some summer tops. I really have decided that summer tops and tees are kind of my new jam. And so I'm always looking for a good top or tee pattern. And I decided that I kind of wanted to knit something so again, I am choosing to knit something with my wrist in mind. So what I did is I went looking for kind of a really simple pattern that didn't have too much in the way of details. I was hoping for something that could be knit in the round, or if back and forth, not too much back and forth, like a top down would be fine. And so what I have settled on is, I think it's called the Weekend Tee. It's by Amy Scher. It is a top down kind of a raglan tee with a little bit of detail at the yoke, at the raglan shaping, and then otherwise it is just pretty much a plain tee with some ribbing at the top. It is, I can't remember whether it's a V-neck or a scoop neck. I was looking at a bunch of different things. And it's worked back and forth in the first few rows and then joined together so that you can work it out. So maybe it is, I don't remember. I will put a link in the show notes. Because I know she has patterns off Ravelry as well. So that is just going to be a really simple tee, and what I'm going to use for it is this yarn that I recently bought at our Knitting in the Heartland. It is from Threadhead Designs, and it is called Mini Boomer. It is a skein of 65% superwash merino, 35% rayon of bamboo, and it's 8 ounces and approximately 1,140 yards, so it is a light fingering weight, and it is kind of in these ocean colors. It's like a teal, but it's also got bits of blue and green and a little bit of yellow and a little bit of purple, and it's really pretty. And I think I picked the simple top because I would like to not have my hands do a lot of lace and purling and cables and like all kinds of things that might make my wrist sore. I want to just kind of be able to knit in a relaxing manner, and also this yarn is gorgeous, and it's ever so slightly kind of variegated. I mean, it's kind of tonal, but it's definitely got some variation in it. It's just not going to be like really strong variation, but it's kind of sea themed, light, beachy, summery, and I thought it would be really nice to let the yarn show off. So my hope is that I will wind this week, and that as soon as I finish my blue scarf, I will get to go ahead and cast this on. I have a number of things that I would like to cast on, but I think this is going to be the first, and we'll see how far I get. My guess is my progress will be a little slow, but if I'm lucky, it is only May, so maybe I could finish it by the end of June, and then I would still have July and August, and maybe even September to wear it, which would be great. So that is kind of the next thing on my needles. So let's talk about embroidery. Last week I was almost done, and I will say, dear friends, this did not take forever, even though it says it did. So this is a kit that I got from Jessica Long Embroidery. I purchased it through her Etsy shop, although you can find her at jessicalongembroidery.com. This was a roses and vines kit. I think it was called, oh gosh, I can't even remember. And it says this took forever, and it did not actually take forever, but it was really fun. So the roses are satin stitch, the leaves are fishbone stitch, and then the vines are a variety of things. There's kind of a stem stitch, there is some loop stitch, and then there's also a variety of satin stitch leaves and vines. And then I did get to learn how to do French knots, which I did down here, and they are also the center of the roses. So that was kind of fun, and I worked on this quite a bit while I was away last weekend. So I did show you, sorry, 2 weekends ago, and so I really didn't have much to do when I came back. I think I just had the letters and then a bunch of the French knots, and so I finished those up, and I need to order a little bit of felt to go on the back here, but I've got it pretty much finished up and almost ready to go. And so I'm going to finish that up. And I think actually I have this little patch of wall here next to my baker's rack. And so I think I might stagger some of my embroidery hoops over there. I have 2 that are done, and I anticipate there will be more. So this is what I finished this week, and I'm really, really pleased with it. And like I said, I just need to order some felt so that I can get on the back of it. So that brings me to what I was going to do next. And I had talked about this for quite a while. Last year, I signed up for an Advent box from Missouri Star, which is the company I work for. And it was full of all kinds of quilting and sewing goodies. And actually one of the things in the kit was an embroidery project. And it was a felt wool embroidery project. It's called the Felt Bird Kit. And this is what it looks like. And so there are 2 birds in each color. And it comes with all these different felt pieces and then red and white thread so that you can sew the designs on there. So I decided to pull this out this weekend, and I thought I might take a look at that, see what it would be like to start that. And I have to say, it's been okay. It's not my favorite. So the felt is actually super, super thick. And so I have finished the first side of, well, I have not finished. I'm almost finished with the first side of one bird. Now, I had no problem at all with the kind of attaching the pieces, and these are all kind of whip stitched into place. And I did that fairly easily and didn't have a lot of trouble with it. But then when it came time to do the stitching, I'm really kind of not terribly happy with the way the stitching goes. First of all, I think I didn't stitch it in quite the right spot. Up here, it almost looks like... sometimes when they repaint the straight lines and they do not like get them straight, and it looks like somebody has been out there after they've been drinking a little bit and they kind of go off in every direction. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but it always makes me laugh. I mean, I don't actually think they're drunk, but it looks like they might be. So my stitches look a little drunk here because they're kind of going in all different directions. They're not consistent lengths. And I was finding it really hard to be consistent on this super thick felt. So it is really super thick. And then when I went around the bottom here, I went really close to the other felt. And so like when I hold it back here, you can barely see what's going on there. Whereas these are like all kinds of crazy up here. So I haven't decided if I'm going to pull them out or if I'm going to continue. I'm just like not terribly enamored of this project. I mean, I will say that this project was never going to be like crazy exciting for me because this is not really my thing. It's not really my aesthetic, and it isn't necessarily something that I would choose if I were picking out a kit that I could do. I will say that like it is made very easy by the fact that all of these pop right out. So the kit comes with, let's see if I can sort of show you some of, so the kit comes with all of these things perforated, so I just need to separate them gently and then I can like pull them out and work on them. So I have the kit for the red birds, and then I also have the white birds, and it came with all the floss and everything. And it does come with stitches. It comes with a guide that talks about it comes with a pattern that talks about the stitches, and it's got the diagrams of both the birds here so I can see. I didn't really draw anything on there. I was just kind of trying to freehand it, which I think is probably part of my problem. But I don't know, it's not super exciting. So I may work on it a little bit more this week, but I actually gave in to temptation and ordered another embroidery kit. So my plan is to work on this one until the new embroidery kit gets here. And my hope actually is I ordered it yesterday and it actually already shipped this morning. So I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that maybe it will get here before this holiday weekend so that I could start on a new kit. It is another set of florals. It doesn't look like anything that I've done yet, but it's like a cluster of all kinds of flowers and leaves. And it's something that I'm really kind of excited about. And so my hope is maybe that it gets here and I might abandon this project for now. I don't know. I might come back to it. I might pull out my stitching. I might not. I really can't decide what exactly I want to do with this. But it's not filling my cup, and these days, given that my crafting time is somewhat limited because I'm not really back to where I want to be, I feel like the projects that I want to work on, I want it to be things I want to work on. So put a pin in this, put a bird on it, put a pin in this, and we'll come back to this at some point. So that is the embroidery. And let's talk about spinning. First off, I'll just show you what I spun this week, and then we will talk for a few minutes about Tour de Fleece, and then I will let you go, and I will have gotten through everything I needed to. So I actually started spinning a new braid this week, and I finished 2 ounces of it. So normally what I do is I split my braids into 2 2-ounce bundles, then I spin them separately, and then I ply it. I almost always do a 2-ply, usually just because I like the yardage that I get with a 2-ply. I like the look of 3-plies. But like I said, I like the yardage that I get with the 2-ply. So this is organic Polworth, and this is in the colorway Sunburst. which is from Hello Yarn, and it was a club colorway several months ago. And actually what you can't see is there is a lot of bright yellow and kind of sunny orange in this, and it's just a real fun kind of sunny, summery colorway, and I'm really, really pleased with it. So it has spun pretty thin, and like I said, I started the second half of it last night. I don't know if I'll finish it this week, but I might. We'll see. Again, I'm not, so I used to spin for 2 to 3 hours at a sitting, which I know is probably not the best for me. At this point, I can do about 45 minutes or an hour before my arm starts getting a little sore. So that's what I'm doing. So it took me a couple sessions to get this one done, and my guess is it will take me a couple sessions to get the other one done. And then I will ply, and this actually will be a shop skein when I get done with it, which reminds me, I have the shop skein from last week to photograph and get that up in the shop. So yeah, so that's what I've been working on. So let's talk a little bit about Tour de Fleece. I can't remember, I know I covered a lot last week, but let me just give you the quick primer for those of you who haven't been here before. So Tour de France is a huge bike race in France that happens every summer. Originally it was only for men. Now there is a Tour de France Femme, which means Tour de France women, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But the Tour de France is a 3-week grueling bike race that takes you through all the mountain ranges and all around France. And back in the, I don't even know how long ago, I started spinning in 2010 and Tour de Fleece was already a thing. A bunch of folks got together on Ravelry and decided that it would be fun to do a spinning event that they called Tour de Fleece, which is basically you spin for all the days of the Tour de France, and on the hard days in the Tour de France, you spin something challenging. On the rest days in the Tour de France, you take a break, but basically you spin for 3 weeks. It was just a fun way to have a summer activity where we all did something together, and for those who are so inclined, you can watch the Tour de France. There are beautiful shots all over France where they're riding, and if you follow cycling, there can be some excitement. There are always a few crashes and some sad things that happen, but it has become a most enjoyed part of my summer, and 2014 will make the 14th year? 15th year? 14th year that I have been, I guess 15th, because I started in 2010. Anyway, it has been a lot of fun years, and most years I host a team, and I decided that I was going to go ahead and do that this year. Now, I will say, Tour de Fleece started as a Ravelry event, and you officially register for a team on Ravelry. For those of you who cannot use Ravelry, I am quite sympathetic, and our team for the last several years has sort of encompassed a variety of social media outlets. So I officially register the team on Ravelry. There is a Corner of Knit and Tea Ravelry group. I almost never refer to it except during Tour de Fleece, because if you are on Ravelry and you would like to participate in the Corner of Knit and Tea group, there is a thread set up for the Tour de Fleece in the Corner of Knit and Tea group. If you would like to join the team and do not want to use Ravelry, there is no reason that you have to use Ravelry. We have a team tag. It's called Team CKT for Team Corner of Knit and Tea, and then the year 2024. So it's hashtag Team CKT 2024. You can join the team in a variety of ways if you would like to spin with us. You can join on Ravelry. You can join on Instagram using that hashtag. Just go ahead and tag us and tell us you want to be a part of the team. I will be watching those hashtags. We have a Facebook group, the link to which is in the description box down below, called Team CKT, Spin It to Win It, so you can participate there. I understand that you may not be into social media. You are also welcome to just email me and tell me you would like to be a part of the team. You can find me at the Corner of Knit and Tea at gmail.com. I know it's kind of a broken record, the Corner of Knit and Tea everywhere. But I will be watching all of those places. So what is the Tour de Fleece about? It is about spinning. My team is very simple. I have almost no rules. One is spin, enjoy it, have fun. Spin as much as you want, spin as little as you want. Spin on a spindle, spin on a wheel, spin on a charka, spin any type of fiber from any dyer, anytime, anywhere. Tour de Fleece is about spinning. So unfortunately, I have to say that knitting, quilting, crocheting, all of the embroidery, all of the other crafts are not eligible. I'm sorry, this is a spinning event dedicated to spinning, so that's what we're going to accept for this. My only rule is that in order to be eligible for prizes, one, you have to let me know when you're on the team. Two, eventually, if you want to be involved in the prize draws, you will need to share with me a photo of your finished spins at the end. So basically the way this works is the event runs for 3 weeks. I have a variety of prizes that I give out throughout the tour. Those prizes are participation prizes. So if you want to be eligible for those, and the more you want to be eligible for those, the more you want to do these things, is chat in one of the threads. So post photos on Instagram, chat on the Ravelry thread, chat in the Facebook group. If you do not want to do any of those things, that is fine. You will still be entered once to win the grand prize. And that is at the end of the tour. I ask anyone in the chat groups or anyone who's on the team to share a photo with me of everything that they spun during the tour. If you are not a social media person, you can email me a photo. That is fine. And then what I do is all of my draws are random number generated. And I draw from various places. So 1 week I'll draw from Ravelry thread and Facebook, 1 week I'll draw from Instagram and Facebook, 1 week I'll draw, I mix it all up so that everybody in all the places who's posting gets entered to win prizes. And of course, the more you participate, the more times your name comes up in the drawing, because I run it based on chat numbers or comments or those kinds of things. So that is how to enter to win prizes. Prizes are fun. They're usually bags of fiber from my fiber collection, or occasionally I'll do a gift card to your favorite spinning shop. Only rule is I have to be able to buy the gift card online, but I will buy it and send it to you, and then you can pick out what you want. I think that's it. The tour kicks off on Saturday, June 29th this year and runs through Sunday, July 21st. There are 2 rest days. Those are noted both in the Facebook group and in the Ravelry group. There are 2 challenge days. Those are also noted in both places. I think that's it. If you have more questions, you can leave me comments here, or you can reach out to me at thecornerofknitandtea@gmail.com, or in the Ravelry group, or in the Facebook group. I will be monitoring all the places. I would love it if you joined us. You don't have to spin every day. You don't have to have any goals in particular. You just have to want to enjoy the summer and spin. You certainly don't have to watch the tour, although I will be, so no spoilers. Particularly for those of you who live in Europe, who might find out the results a few hours before the rest of us. You have to wait till the end of the day to talk about things, because sometimes I haven't watched yet. I think that's it. It's just a really fun time of summer where usually other things aren't going on, and so I just hang out and spin. My goal this year is going to be to spin at least 15 minutes every day, owing to my wrist not cooperating entirely. I don't want to hurt myself, but I do want to get back into spinning, because I really have had a break. I haven't spun that much this year, and I would really like to. So I don't think I'm going to spin for any big project, because I have a few sweater quantities that I've already spun up and haven't used yet. So my guess is I will pick a variety of braids and just spin things for the shop. But I'll have to see. I gotta check it out. If you are interested, please watch your favorite fiber dyers, because they will be doing updates pre-Tour de Fleece. Everybody stocks up to spin, so there is no official team colorway. My rules are also very simple. You can spin on anyone else's team. You can double, triple, quadruple dip. You have to follow their rules in their group, but I don't have any rules. So you can spin something for somebody else's group and then double dip by entering it, by posting a photo of it in mine. So I think that's it. I just want everybody to spin and love Tour de Fleece. That's pretty much it. And if you love the Tour de France bike race, then I'm totally with you, and let's discuss. But that is totally not necessary. Okay, I think I'm going to stop, because now I am just rambling. If I left anything out, please ask questions, or let me know if you want to join the team. We have approximately 6 weeks until we start, so I would say if you have not spun in a while, dust off your wheel, get whatever you've got on your bobbins off, oil your wheel if it requires oil, don't oil it if it doesn't. Not all wheels are supposed to be oiled. Read your manufacturer's instructions. Start thinking about what you want to spin, whether you want to spin a big project or a little bit, or, start buying some fiber if you don't have enough. And I'll see you soon. So take care until I see you next time. I'll say happy spinning, happy knitting, embroidering, and sewing, and finally happy sipping. I'll see you next week. Bye.